Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Ronnie Woo and this is The Delicious Cook. Today we're going to be making glazed donuts. I was playing around with some recipes and let's just say these guys taste a whole lot like those Krispy Kreme donuts that everybody loves. I have a feeling you're going to make these donuts over and over again, and better yet, you might become everyone's favorite person. You don't want to miss this, so stay tuned. So believe it or not, this recipe is actually really simple, and the best thing about it is that most of it can be made in a stand mixer. So let's head back to the stand mixer and start making our donut dough.
So the first thing you want to do is attach your dough hook attachment to your stand mixer. Then to the stand mixer bowl you want to add 2.5 tablespoons of warm water and 1 packet of active dry yeast. Then you just want to let it sit for a couple of minutes before you mix it. Then you just want to give it a really good mix with a spoon, and then let it sit for 10 minutes until it gets nice and frothy. When the yeast gets nice and frothy, you want to add 2/3 of a cup plus 1 tablespoon of whole milk that's been heated in the microwave for 1 minute and then cooled. A 1/4 cup of white sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 large egg, 2.5 tablespoons of vegetable shortening, and then 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. We're going to add 1 more cup of flour a little bit later in the process. Now begin to mix the ingredients on low speed for about 30 seconds, remembering to scrape the sides every once in a while with the spatula. When the ingredients begin to come together, you want to slowly add the rest of your flour. You want to add about half a cup of flour each time, again remembering to scrape down the sides between each addition. Next, you want to lift the dough hook and see if the dough is sticky. If the dough is still sticky, you may need to add some more flour. And in this case, we're going to add a little bit more flour. I'm going to add just a couple more tablespoons of all-purpose flour and then turn the stand mixer on. Then I'm just going to let it run until the extra flour mixes in with the dough. The dough should be super soft and almost sticky, but not quite. When the dough gets to this point, you just want to give it a gentle knead with some floured hands and then form it into a ball. Then we're going to return it back to the stand mixer bowl and cover it with some plastic wrap.
Alright, all we're going to do now is just leave that alone and let the dough rise for about 45 to 60 minutes until it's doubled in size. I'll see you guys back here when it's ready to be rolled out and turned into donuts. So it's been about an hour now. Let's see how big our dough's gotten.
Wow!
Now that our dough has risen, the next thing you want to do is roll it out on a floured surface. You want to gently transfer the dough out onto the floured surface and using a French rolling pin, roll the dough out to about 1/2 inch thickness. Once you have your dough rolled out, you want to cut out circles with a lightly floured biscuit cutter. Then you want to transfer them to a parchment paper lined baking sheet where they'll rise one more time. Any of the excess dough can be re-rolled and cut into a second batch of donuts. Last but not least, don't forget to cover your donut circles with some plastic wrap.
So we're done cutting our donuts out. Now we're just going to let them rise one more time for about 30 minutes, and in the meantime we're going to make our glaze. So in a small mixing bowl, I want to add 3 tablespoons of room temperature butter. Next, I want to add 1 cup of powdered sugar, followed by about a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Then, using a fork, you want to give this a very thorough mix until it forms a paste. Next, you want to add about 3 tablespoons of evaporated milk. We're going to start by mixing it with the fork, and as the sugar dissolves into the evaporated milk, we're going to switch to a whisk. Then you just want to whisk it until it's nice and smooth. Alright, so our glaze is done. We're just going to let the donuts rise for a little bit longer. I'll see you guys back here when they're ready to be fried up. So our donut cutouts have risen and doubled in size. Let's head back to the stove and fry them up.
Using a heavy bottom pot and a candy thermometer, you want to heat up about 2 to 3 inches of canola oil until it reaches 350 degrees. Then you just want to gently place your donuts into the hot oil and fry them up for about 45 to 60 seconds on each side until they're a light golden brown color. Give them a quick flip and fry the other side. When the donuts are done frying, transfer them to a baking sheet lined with a cooling rack. Simply continue doing this until you've fried up all of your donut circles. If you want to fry up all of your donut circles, you can actually keep them in the fridge overnight and fry them up the next morning for some hot, fresh donuts.
Alright, our donuts look amazing. Let's dip them in our glaze and give them the all-important taste test. Oh my god. Those are so good. They're light and fluffy, and they do taste just like the Krispy Kreme donuts. You guys are gonna love this recipe. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to email me. I'm Ronnie Woo, and I'll see you guys next time on The Delicious Cook.